Significant amount of fire showing out the windows from the first floor. And also starting to extend up into the second home at the time of the fire.
Now, Chief, is this in a multi-story apartment house, do you know?
It is. It's a two-family residence, upstairs, downstairs.
So the upstairs apartment not occupied at the time?
That's correct. There were no occupants on the second floor at the time of the fire.
And then the bottom floor apartment, two juveniles inside, third person was outside when your crews arrived. Is that?
So a couple of the occupants that reside in the downstairs.
As for the juvenile victims, do you have an approximate age at this point?
I don't. One appeared to be a toddler and one was an adolescent.
And in that, I imagine they were taken to regional or area hospitals, do you know?
They were. Both victims were transported to UPMC Chautauqua for further evaluation and treatment.
Do you have an idea of what the extent of any injuries might have been?
I don't. I'm sorry, I don't have any additional information.
Can you walk us through what goes through your guys' mind as they roll up to a scene like this? Frigid cold, there's big snow mounds. It's not necessarily an easy task just to get here.
It may create just a short time delay, just due to the snow conditions, but our members are very focused on rescuing victims first. It's always about life safety. Obviously, we have to control the fire while that's going on also, but our first.
When I was on scene, I witnessed the firefighters make what seemed like a pretty swift entry into that first floor. When youth is involved, I know you might say that any sort of emergency your guys are going in, but in this case, do you think that fuels them a little more, fuels them to get through the door?
I believe it may have a bit of a factor with it. Any time that we're ever reported, even going back to my days, working on the trucks.
Suffer a burns. What is his condition?
I'm actually going to be going down to check on him now. He's unstable. He was transported to UPMC also by Jamestown Fire Department's ambulance for non-life-threatening injuries. It appeared that he had some burns to his right shoulder and his right arm.
Do you have an idea of how he sustained that?
Efforts through fighting the fire and trying to rescue victims.
And then as for the actual
open all the way to the roof. Once the fire breaches into those stud channels, from a low point inside the residence, the fire would tend to travel up towards the roof line. And if you look closely, you can see a stud channel that goes straight up in the front where that fire did extend up. So when it comes to actually fighting those fires, we try to obviously suppress them as quickly as we can so it doesn't extend to that, to that degree. They'll go all the way to the roof. But unfortunately,
it's that the fire maybe started somewhere on the first floor and it can easily spread anywhere.
It can. I mean, generally fires follow a pattern, and that's what our investigators will look for when they come up to try to determine an area of origin.
And I know that aspect of it, I imagine, ongoing now. That first thoughts for you, do you have an idea of maybe where the fire started?
It appears it started on the first floor.
Need to consult your investigators, but any suspicion at this time of anything?
Nope. No suspicions.
Chief, is there anything we missed that we didn't ask you about that should be included in our story?
I don't think so. Just we always try to encourage everybody to be safe, have smoke detectors that are obviously working, practice a fire plan in the event that something catastrophic happens.
And I suppose.
At the present time, it is not able to be occupied.
Thank you, Chief Matthew Kuhn with the Jamestown Fire Department. I really appreciate your time today. And then Chief. I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll just step in front of the fire here in the city. And if you're just joining us, here's the absolute latest. Crews responded here at about 1:45 in the afternoon today to this north side residence, and they found the home completely engulfed with flames. This is a two-story apartment complex here on the city amongst a very snowy street. Obviously, we had the blizzard yesterday. Fire crews were the second of which a child older than a toddler in their adolescence were stuck inside. Fire crews made swift rescue efforts here as they breached down the front door and were able to rescue those two children. No one in the upper apartment at the time of the blaze. One firefighter did sustain a shoulder burn. All victims taken to UPMC Chautauqua Hospital. Download and subscribe for the latest breaking news, push notifications, and this story and so much more here from the Jamestown area. But reporting from the north side of Jamestown, Justin Gould, W.